Come.
Yeah. May we start, Swamiji?
Yes.
Om Namo Narayanaya. Pranamam, Swamiji. In our last class, Swamiji stated that we are now in the most important part of Atmabodha. We are gradually moving step by step to the stage of ultimate knowledge, to that depth and that subtle level. When we practice and experience the reality directly, then the Shastras, teaching, the teacher, the words are not different from us. The speciality of the Shastra is that all the duality disappears. It is a misunderstanding of self that makes us experience problems and we are unable to know the self. Through ignorance, the all-pervading Brahman becomes Jiva. If we ask Vedanta how the Jiva becomes Jiva, Vedanta will respond by saying that there is no entity called Jiva. The mistake is that we make the all-pervading Brahman the individualized consciousness and then give it all kinds of attributes. This same idea is discussed from another perspective in the 45th shloka. Because of delusion and superimposition, we made Brahman, the consciousness, as Jiva. This is the special ability that you have to change the real to the unreal and the unreal into real. This special quality is called Jivatma. Body, mind, and sense organs are only instruments of Jivatma. Only this individualized Jivatma can make this. One enjoys the world with this delusion as a quality. This is samsara. Now, to remove this problem, this ajnanam, you have to remove the envelopments that you covered yourself with. Only you yourself can get rid of samsara. Only through a complete knowledge of Shastras can we get to know the nature of Jiva. So remove the envelopment one by one and experience the reality. Acharya explains this with a well-known example. The stump of a tree is mistaken in dull light as a man or a ghost, and then, because of this bhranti, one gets frightened. This indicates that there is no Jiva, only Brahman. If you can create your world in dream state, then you can be the creator at the cosmic level also. Mind is the creator of the world. This means that my world is created by my mind. The world phenomenon is not different from you because for all aspects, you are your world, the creator and the enjoyer. When you accept the objects outside, they are there for you. What changes is your mind. Your material cause, the body mass, etc., is the same. If you can change this and think that I am that pure consciousness, all these appearances are within me, then that becomes your consciousness. Shloka 46 tells us when this knowledge is going to reveal this consciousness for me. How does one know one has realized or not? This is what Acharya says, the experience of that reality, that consciousness, Atma, when that happens, immediately that knowledge will remove ajnanam, ignorance. There is no gap. The secret of how you can know whether you have experienced the Atma or not is that you will not have sorrow, any fear related to body and mind, and you will not see or feel as being different from others. Try to remove the bondage with this meditation that you are not different from others, that you are consciousness. I and mine. This is the appearance of ignorance. Here, Acharya says, this I and mine disappears when that knowledge of reality appears, that tattva jnana appears instantly, immediately. After this knowledge, there is no sadhana, because the knowledge and result are at the same time. In this case, there is no need for any proof, no need for any assurance. Know that when you get the right direction, the dik, for example, you're aware from which direction the sun rises. If you get one direction, the rest can be deduced. In that understanding, this jnani who has had this experience feels the vision of a jnani who has realized Brahman. Shloka 47 talks about the change in vision once jnana chakshusha, or the eye of wisdom, is got. This change in perception solves the problems. The yogi who has realized that truth completely is free from any doubts and has no doubts about this and is without any viparita jnana. First, one has to open up the mind to remove all bondages, free the mind from all conditions, free from all what you have gained is knowledge. There is no action, no reaction at this level. Then think about one's own self. The sadhaka sees this entire world in himself. The entire world is a manifestation of my own consciousness. When you think and feel this, there is no possibility of fear or other different experiences. He sees the entire world as ekam cha sarvam atmanam, the individual self. The supreme experience is that this realized person will love the whole world as his family or as his own self. This way, he has reached the ultimate reality with the knowledge of scriptures, which helped him to get to this point of experience. That experience of oneness is the oneness of Atma. Shloka 48 continues the same idea from another angle. The Upanishad says that the cause and effect is Atma alone. Atma eva idam jagat. This is the same as Isha Vasya idam sarvam. God, the world, has one existence. We do not say that God exists in this world or the world exists in God, but we say God exists. Effect is not different from cause. Without cause, there is no existence for effect. Therefore, effect is untrue, unreal, and cause is real. The action and reaction are within the mind, and this experience is beyond the mind. Therefore, the mind cannot change the experience. This is another proof for this. The experience of Atma is beyond the mind, and so the mind cannot make any difference. Swatmanam sarvamikshate is the last experience that we have, and after this, one does not have any desire for experience. This is the experience of the oneness of Vedanta, universal oneness experience. Here, you are the experiencer, the experience, and the object of experience. Therefore, this cannot be described. Being wrong or right are divisions which are only in the mind. The physical body is separate. This is the experience of Swatmanam Sarvamikshate. That he sees himself everywhere does not mean that he sees his body and mind everywhere. This is not any mystical experience. It is a real experience. One sees oneself, consciousness, Atma, everywhere. This is not the body, mind, object. Body, mind has separation and is always divided. Atma evedam jagat sarvam atmano nanyanna vidyate. This is the supreme statement of the Upanishads and the highest experiential statement. I am that Brahman. I am all-pervading, omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. This is what I am. So, aham brahmasmi, atma evedam sarvam. Many verses in the Upanishads declare this experience. Swamiji concluded the 18th class with this thought. Let us now listen to Swamiji. Hari Om.
So, 47 mind, 48 yours. Atmai Vedam. That we complete.
श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्य कृतो वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः Punaha Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Apopikshina Papana Shandanam Vetaraginam Mumukshonam Apikshyoyam Atmabodho Bhidhiyate. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Namo Narayana to all. So now we have reached the state of Jivan Mukti. So this experience is very special. As in the statement of Vedanta say, there is no other entity, only Atma exists. Atmaiva Kevalam. So only Atma exists. Atmaiva Idagam Sarvam. So whatever we see, we experience, that is Atma only, nothing but Atma. Similarly, when we say in universal sense, God alone exists, because the creator and the created both are the same. Therefore, there is no separation between creator and created. So to say, there is no process to reach the creator by the creator. Now, we are searching for a process. We are seeking a sadhana to reach our own self. This is the blunder we are doing for all our life. So this great blunder is called self-ignorance, Atma Jnana. So we call it in Vedanta as Mula Jnana. This is the fundamental ignorance. Mula Ajnana. The root ignorance or the fundamental ignorance, which causes all other ignorant and its different manifestations. When ignorance manifests, it manifests in different forms of ignorance only. So, if we can change this, if we can realize that from the beginning we are doing this blunder mistake by searching our own self. So when a sadhaka, a seeker understands this, accepts this, he realizes himself as the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. So there the seeking ends. So for him there is nothing left to pursue. So it ends there. So the state of Jivan Mukta is realizing himself as all-pervading Brahma. That's all. And for that, what we could do is we could change our perception as the separate entity from that existence of Brahman or God. So when we change this, right there, we experience that the God exists, God dwells in us. So this is what we call God realization. So self-realization and God realization is no two different things. They are the same. So this is the root of Vedanta. We can say only this Vedantic philosophy state this, ensure this. No other philosophy in the world declare this statement that you are the God. God dwells in you. God is not only in the heaven. So only Vedanta declares this. And the sadhana, what Vedanta prescribed, is this, the sadhana of discovering and revealing. There is no sadhana of achievement. There is no achievement. We are rediscovering our own self. So this is what is the state of Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta can only love all as himself, the whole being as himself. Because he loves himself as we love ourselves. We love ourselves the most. So Jivan Mukta also loves himself the most. So he loves all beings as his own self. Jivan Mukta has no duties as such. Hence, he has completed his duties or actions for any purpose. The purposeful actions are completed. Now he become purposeless. Hence, he has no work as such. Can you believe this? He doesn't accept any action as his action because he has no purpose to fulfill. We consider ourselves as doers, enjoyers, and with that we do actions, and without performing an action you feel dull. No, you feel I'm totally depressed. If you see somebody sitting without any action, even mobile is not there in his hands, what do you think about him? Oh, he is depressed with because he is not doing any action. It means he has some problem in his mind. Immediately you take that person to a psychiatrist and try to treat the person. And if you could see a Jivan Mukta, you will also do the same thing. If you are a doctor, you definitely say he has some problem. He is not doing anything. He is sitting like half dead. No, he should be immediately treated. So this is the problem, because our perception, our conditions are different. Now, if you ask him why you are sitting like this, he will immediately respond to that. He will say, am I sitting? So that would be his answer. I'm not sitting. So then you will get more angry. What this fellow is saying is, he is sitting and asking me, am I sitting? Sometimes if you are blessed, then he may respond. Sometimes he will not care you. He will not even respond to your words or your attempts. So this is the state of Jivan Mukta. Now I am asking you, any of you really want to be in this state? Any of you really want to attain this state? I see no. I think you will not say yes, because you don't want such a state where everything is off. That's the wonder of the life. When you are get rid of purposefulness, when you leave all the purpose away from you, discard all the purposes, then you are free as God. You are free as yourself. You are free as you are in deep sleep. You have no duties to do, no worries. So this is the state of Jivan Mukta. So from this shloka, the 49th shloka to 53, we are going to discuss the state of Jivan Mukta. Very interesting. Jivan Muktastu tadvidwan purvopadhi gunan styajet Satchidananda rupatvat bhavet भ्रमर कीटवत. जीवन मुक्तस्तु तद विद्वान. So tad vidwan, that Vidwan, that's enlightened person who has experienced that enlightenment. The Tad Vidwan, who has this self-knowledge, he is called as Jivan Mukta, liberated while living. Jivan Mukta. So he has body, he has mind, sense organs, everything. He's a living being. Yet he is liberated. This is called Jivan Mukta. And this concept of experience, I say it is only there in this Vedantic knowledge, Advaita Jnana. Nowhere else you can find such a concept or such a beautiful concept. So you are not going away from here to achieve that enlightenment. Here, by the practice of sadhana, you are endowed with this enlightenment. So Jivan Muktastu, the Jivan Mukta is a compound word of two words, Jivan. So it means while living. Muktaha, who is liberated, realized, enlightened. Tad Vidwan, what he does, what he experiences, Purva Upadhi Gunan Staje. He leaves away, he give up all his old upadhis, limiting adjuncts. So, upadhin tajet, purva upadhi. Now, that is what I said. One who thinks himself as a man, he will always be a man. He cannot be a Jivan Mukta. One who thinks himself as a woman, she will be a woman forever. So, if you ask a Jivan Mukta, he will not say, I am a man. He will not say, she will not say, I am a woman. Now, what is the problem there? Now you are seeing him as a man, but himself he is not accepting it. So according to our psychology, this is a big problem. No, it's a totally it's a big disease. I don't know the name of the disease, but it's a disease that not accepting himself as a human being, not accepting himself as a man. Man is not accepting himself as a man. Woman is not accepting herself as a woman. Then that's a problem, a psychological problem. But he is above that. He's beyond that. Because he can't see himself as a limited, with this limitation, within this body, within this body as a limiting adjunct. He cannot identify himself with this body. he sees a big blunder in accepting this body as a man. No, himself as a man. Therefore, he says, I am not this body. So, Purva Upadhi Gunans Tejet. He thinks like when we wear clothes, different styles of clothes. If somebody asks me if I am wearing a t-shirt, if somebody calls me, you are a t-shirt. You are wearing a sari, means you are sari. Will I accept that? No, I am wearing t-shirt, that's okay. But if somebody calls me, you are a t-shirt, I will not accept that. Why? Why I am not accepting it? Because I see the separation. This t-shirt is just a cloth I am wearing for some time, but I am not this cloth. Likewise, exactly like that, Jivan Mukta experiences this body as a cloth. Therefore, he will not accept. If you call him a man, no, if you call him by his shirt, you will not accept it. That's all. So therefore, you cannot make him endowed with all this limiting adjunct, any of this. This is a big problem in dealing with Jivan Muktas. It's very difficult to live with Jivan Muktas. Satchidananda Rupatvat. Now, the answer is this. Why he is not accepting all this body and other limiting adjuncts? What is the reason? It says Satchidananda Rupatvat. Because he is experiencing himself as supreme existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. So if you ask, who are you? He may answer, I am consciousness. He may answer, I am Sat. I am ever existing. He may answer, I am Anandoham, Chidanandoham. I am bliss absolute. So, existence, consciousness, bliss absolute. Now, we can repeat all these words. I mind you that these are not words. These are not words for pronunciation. These are experience and reality. Of course, these words are indicating that reality, the experience of reality. But these words are not that reality. Though this is the experience. Now, when you call that Jivan Mukta Satchidananda Rupa, he will accept that. Other than this, nothing is applicable for him. So, now you cannot deal with him. You cannot do any deal with him. You cannot have a conversation, because your words he will not accept and his experience you are not going to accept. So there is a communication problem. You cannot you cannot have a conversation with him. You ask, how are you? He will say, who are you? I don't know how I am. So now what you can ask? You may ask his name, his actions, his feelings. So there is no chance of getting an answer, a response from him, because for him, your questions are not applicable, not applied. You are putting wrong questions to a wrong person. And if at all he will answer that I am bliss absolute. Now you have no answer. So your side is empty. So this is the problem with the conversation, or what is it, when we deal with Jivan Muktas. It's very interesting. Therefore, what Jivan Mukta does is, he will keep calm and quiet, mum, without uttering any word. Because he can't make a thought of communication for you. Therefore, that mauna, that silence is called the ultimate silence of Brahman. Mauna Vyakhyanam. Without uttering a word, he delivers whole lecture in mauna. When you ask questions, actually he is answering. No? How he is answering? He is answering in the language of silence. That's called mauna vyakhyanam. If you can understand that language of silence, then you may get the answer. Otherwise, you will be confused and you go away, run away from there. So Satchidananda Rupatva. Now only two things here. One, because he is Satchidananda, he doesn't accept all that attributions, limiting adjuncts, this body, mind, sense, ego, intellect, complex. It's all separated. Then the analogy says, Brahmarakitavat. Then what he does? He's like a Brahmarakida, like a wasp. He transformed himself into another state. Now he is in a different level, different state, different realm, where you don't understand. Everything changed. So the example is Brahmara Kidavata. The worm transforms itself into the form of wasp. So how it transforms it? After transforming, it changes. With a constant contemplation on the shape of wasp. That is the story says. Similarly, by constant concentration on Brahma, applying his mind on Brahma, he will be steady with his mind in a peaceful state. He is not practicing meditation anymore. His mind becomes meditation itself. So mind gets that mood of meditation constantly. So therefore, he may not be interested to open the eyes and see you, look at you. He may not be interested to listen to your words. He may not be interested to even bless you. Because for him, you are not a separate entity. For him, you are there with him or within himself. Now, in that case, who is talking to whom? Yatra sarvamatmaiva bhut tat kenakam pashyet kenakam jighret kenakam vijaniyat kenakam manvita. So, it's not there in your book. I'm quoting from somewhere else. So therefore, I very rarely quote. When I remember something, even I escape that because it's not there in the book. You may see what Swamiji is reading. So this is a beautiful quote from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It is very well in accordance with the subject we are discussing. There the Upanishad says, Yasya sarvam atmaiva bhut. To him, everything, all become Atma. To that person, to that Jivan Mukta. Yasya sarvam atmaiva bhut kena kampasya. Who will see whom and by which he will see. So there is no instrument of seeing. There is no purpose of seeing. There is no other object to see. Kena kampasya. By whom and why, by which instrument, whom he is going to see. So there would not be an action of seeing. There would not be an action of smelling. There would not be an action of touching. There would not be an action of thinking, knowing. Why? Because all other objects of this perceiving is there within him. Yasya sarvam atmaiva bhut. To whom everything becomes Atma. Yasya sarvam atmaiva bhut. So therefore there is no object to see. That is why I said, when you ask something, he may not answer. Because for you, in your perception, you are asking to that person that Jivan Mukta, enlightened person. You are separate from that person. So you have a question or some query, you are asking him. But for him, it is interested that for him, you are not asking anything. You are not separate from him. Now, therefore, he cannot answer because he cannot ask a question to himself and answer to himself. Therefore, you will see him as not caring you. He is not bothered about you. That is what you see there. Actually, he is accepting yourself as his own self. So for him, there is no yourself, no himself. Only himself is there. To see how beautiful this experience is. This is the reality. Therefore, he is not answering. He is not bothering to answer. So the real Vedanta, it says like this. But to teach this Vedanta, this experience, now I have explained something. I don't know you got the idea or not. But I enjoy explaining this. Okay. So you will also get this idea once upon a time. Now also you will get this. So I got this, or I understand what? I understand what I understand. I try to say. And Acharya says the same thing here. But reading this, we all get that enjoyment. So the next sloka continues with the same idea. Tirtha moharnavam bhatva ragadveshati rakshasan yogi shanda samayuktaha atmaramo virajate. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadi rakshasan. Having crossed the ocean of delusion, Tirtva. Tirtva means having crossed. Moha. Moha means delusion. Arnava means ocean. So he has crossed the ocean of delusion. He has transformed himself from this unreality to the state of reality. In this individual experience through the universal experience, he transformed himself into that. Hatva ragadveshadi rakshasan. Having killed raga, dvesha, these are all demons, rakshasa. In mythology, we have these villains called demons. So raga dveshadi rakshasan, this raga and dvesha, passion and aversion, likes and dislikes. Acharya says this passion and aversions are demons. They will attack you, because in mythology, these demons are attackers, very dangerous attackers. No? You know, when passion attacks you, what happened to you? Everything will change. It's so powerful. And similarly, aversion. When aversion attacks you, you will forget all this Vedanta. Now Vedanta says all is Brahman and you are Brahman, you are everywhere. But when aversion comes to your mind, you will see everything different. This is because these are why we call them as demons, because they are attacking ourselves. Now he has crossed all these problems. Yogi Shanta Samayuktaha Atmaramo Virajate. He forgets everything. Now for him there is no passion, there is no aversion, there is no delusion, nothing, no confusion. All these fictions have gone from him. Shanta Samayuktaha. He harmonized himself to peace. Shanti Samayuktaha. Harmonizing himself to peace. He has become one with the peace. He has the experience of that harmony with peace. So Shanta Samayuktaha. So there is no waves rising up, no waves in that ocean of peace. Atmaramaha. Now what is his enjoyment? If he has no passion, has no desires, he has no objects, what he is doing, what he is enjoying? No, if you don't have anything to enjoy, if somebody say you are, how you are enjoying, how you are living. So you cannot live your life without enjoyments or the objects for enjoyments. Therefore, we can't think how a person can live without the objects for enjoyment. So he will ask him definitely, what you are enjoying? You are not speaking, you are not thinking, and your language is not correct. What you are doing, what you are getting? Because sometimes he may speak and speak wrongly, because his mind has changed. He doesn't care for all this. We have seen such personalities, because all this, what we call as vyavahara, the normal conversation and normal manners of dealing and all those are in a different level. When you are beyond that, there is no such things. Now, what he is experiencing. So here Acharya says, Atma Ramaha Virajate. If you want to say, you can say that he enjoys himself. Atma Ramaha. He is enjoying in himself, or he enjoys himself. There is Atmani Aramaha. He is resting on himself. He is experiencing himself. He is one with that all-pervading self called Atma. So Atma Ramaha Virajate. He shines. He is enjoying himself. He is enjoying within. So there is no need for any objects. So yogi shanta samayuktaha Atma Ramo Virajate. This is the ultimate effect of the experience. This is the ultimate effect of emancipation. Atma Rama, he himself is there, that's all. And Shanta Samayukta is in that peace of mind. Even though he moves around, he is not changing his mind, or he is not losing that state of peace. So he can sit without actions and he can do actions. In both these conditions, he will not lose his state of peace. That's why Atma Ramaha. Because when he moves around, he doesn't think that I am moving out of me. He is moving around in himself. He is enjoying himself. He is seeing himself. That is why I said, Yasya sarvam atmaiva bhut tat kena kampasya. So yatra hi dvaidam iva bhavati tad itara itaram pashyati tatira itaram jighrati tatira itaram vichanati. Where you see something separate from you, an entity separate from you, and you apply your mind as I am different from that object. If that is there, then one may see other. So this process can be seen there. But in his case, he can't see something separate from himself. Therefore, Dvaitam iva bhavati. Actually, there is no duality. Duality is imposed, superimposed. By superimposing duality, we do all our actions in dual perspective. Because we have this dual perspective very firmly established. We have established it. It's there in our mind. There is no need to do any preparation for that. So the perspective, this experience of duality is a different experience. But for Jivan Mukta, this dual experience is not there. You have the experience of singular. He has the experience of aloneness, kevala. Now you may think how difficult he may be feeling, because he has no object to think or no to feel separate from you. How hard it is. If you live in a place where nobody is saying hello to you, then what would be your response? How you will feel? Nobody is saying hello to you, nobody is showing any response. It's very hard to even think about that. Why? The reason is we have created this duality as real, and we want this dual experience to continue. So whatever we enjoy, we get the enjoyment from this duality. Therefore, we need somebody to say hello, somebody to love, somebody to express our feelings, because we accept the second entity as second entity, not our own self. So this is the difference between Jivan Mukta and the normal person. Bahya nitya sukha saktim hitvatma sukha nirvritaha ghatastadipavat swasthaha swantareva prakashate. So same thing is described here. Bahya anitya sukhasaktim hitva. Having renounced the outside feelings and attachments, bahya anitya sukhasakti. Hitva. Hitva means leaving off, renouncing all this. So, bahya anitya sukha asakti. So, the sukha, the enjoyment, outside enjoyments are not permanent. They are all momentary enjoyments. So he renounced all those. So bahya anitya sukha saktim hitva. Atma sukha nirvritaha. How could he do that? Because he got the inner experience of sukha, happiness. So Atma sukha nirvritaha. He is satisfied with self bliss, self happiness. So one who is satisfied with self happiness will not search happiness outside. So Atma Sukha Nirvritaha. Since he is enjoying himself, he is not searching objects outside. The pleasures, external pleasures are transitory, momentary. They are not going to stand with you. They will just come and leave. Therefore, Atma Sukha Nirvritaha Bahya Anitya Sukha Saktim Hitva Swandareva Prakashate Swasthaha Swandareva Prakashate. The Swasthaha, Swast means Sthitaha. He established himself in himself. Swasthaha. No. He is enjoying himself. He is experiencing himself. He is satisfied with himself. So everything is there in himself. So he is not searching these things outside. The swasthaha. And swandareva prakashate. He shines inwardly. He shines inwardly. He experiences inwardly. For instance, Gadastha Deepavat. If you take a jar and light a lamp and keep inside the jar, and what would happen? The light kept inside, the lamp kept inside will light the jar from inside. So Gadastha Deepavat. If you take out that light and keep in the room, that same light will give lights around the room. The light will be illuminated. We keep in that ghata, in that jar, that light can only illuminate inside the jar, inside that pot. So here is enjoying the light inside, is inward. So when we open our eyes, that light comes out and we see outside objects and enjoy. Swantaha, within himself. Swantaha. He himself enjoys that. So there is no point, there is no reason that he should go out and experience outside objects. He doesn't feel like So therefore, he is called Jivan Mukta. Now, this Jivan Mukta has different life, as I said. You cannot deal with him because he has a different realm of mind and thought process. He is seeing this world as something different. His perception is changed. So, in your perception, when you see some non-object, you look at that object as an object and try to deal with that. You may try to get that object. But for him, there is no object separate from himself. So the next shloka says, he's like space, Vyomavat, space everywhere, the all-pervading space. He is identifying himself as space. Upadisthopi tadharmairalipto vyomavat munihi. Upadisthopi tadharmairalipto vyomavat munihi. Sarvavit mudhavat tishthet asakto vayuvat charet. Upadisthopi, though he is in the midst of limiting agent as body, mind, and intellect, all this. Upadisthaha. Tadharmai aliptaha. Though he is in this body, because he is Jivan Mukta, he is in this life, he has he got that liberation. So he has this body. Though he has this body, is not attached to that. So tadharmaihi aliptaha, untouched with all these attributions. Tadharmaihi aliptaha. So he has the body, but as if he is not having the body. He lives like that. He has the mind, but he acts like he has no mind. He is highly intelligent, but he acts as if he is dull. He is a fool. Now, how can you understand such a person? It's very difficult. So, tadharmaihi aliptaha. Untouched, unconditioned with all those. Munihi is a real sage. Sarvavit. Now you say how Shankaracharya is defining himself. How he is defining Jivan Mukta. This is very interesting. The first word he says is Sarvavit. Sarvavit means one who knows each and everything perfectly, completely. Sarvavit. But Mudhavat. But he acts like a mudha, like a fool, not affected by praise or blame, remains calm and mum. Now, when you praise somebody, when you appreciate somebody, if that person remains calm and mum, not reacting to your praise, then what do you feel? Oh, this person is fool, or he doesn't understand my language. That's what you will think. Similarly, when you blame a person, he is not reacting to your words. So you think it means he is a fool, he is a dumb person. He keeps himself away from all this. He is an intelligent person. He understands everything. But he is not reacting. You think that that person is fool. But for him, what he thinks that you are a fool. Now, he thinks that you don't understand the reality. Therefore, you are a fool. And what you think that this person is fool, therefore he doesn't understand me, my words. So therefore, there is no chance of conversation. So, moodhavat, like a fool. Andhavat jadavat chaiva lokam acharet. In different places, same thing is described in differently. A fool tishthet may remain asaktaha vayuvat charet. Asaktaha, without attachments, unattached to any action. He will move around like the wind moves around, flow around. Vayuvat charet. He cannot stop him. He moves around with his prarabdha sharira. Oh, sarvavit moodhavat tishthed asakta vayuvat charet. So that is the character of Jivan Mukta. So in all our Vedantic scriptures, the state of Jivan Mukta is described beautifully. So now we have a few more slokas describing this. Then the last part of this, there will be some description of karmas, prarabdha karma and all. Thus, Atmabodha ends. So it starts with sadhana practices, and describes the ultimate goal as Brahmajnana, and there is some discussion about creation, and ultimately ends with this Jivan Mukta, the life of and experience of Jivan Mukta. This is how most of the Vedantic textbooks are created. So I think today we can stop here. Yeah, if you want to ask any question, you can ask. Harihi Om.
Whoever wants to ask question, please raise your hand. Rakesh, you can unmute and ask Rakesh. Rakesh, please unmute and ask the question.
Sorry, it was not unmuting. The host wasn't allowing it. Pranamam, Swamiji.
Pranamam. Hari Om, welcome.
Hari Om, Swamiji. As you described the characteristics of Jivan Mukta, right? Unaffected,
Yeah, right.
and mood and everything like that. I'm sorry to say, I presumed that it was just akin to a lunatic, a mad person who is happy within himself. He is unaffected by the outside world. Can you please describe? I got this confusion about a Jivan Mukta and a comparison with a lunatic person, a bad person. Can you please describe it?
Yeah, that's another difficulty that, as you mentioned, you see a mad person and a Jivan Mukta, the same, outside the same. Because the mad person also doesn't care for his actions and his words, and the Jivan Mukta as well. But the difference is, when you approach this person, when you approach a mad man, you will not feel anything, or you will feel disturbed by within your mind. But when you approach, when you are in the presence of Jivan Mukta, you will feel cool, happiness, and from inside you will experience the peace of that mind. So this is the difference. And that mad person doesn't understand what he does. He's not, he is careless even with his deeds and the thoughts. But Jivan Mukta, as just now we have discussed, Jivan Mukta's mind is constantly concentrated. And he is in the state of peace, unchanging peace. So you will have that reflection. For example, if a child of 6 months or 1 year, a small child, a baby, sleeping, if you go to that baby, what you feel? You feel so cool, so relaxed. And just seeing that baby sleeping, your mind gets some sort of enjoyments. The same thing will happen in the presence of Jivan Mukta as well. The same thing. So you will feel some enjoyment from inside. That's the difference.
Jai Shri Narayan. Please unmute and ask.
Swamiji, pranama.
Hari Om, Pranam.
Hari Om. Swamiji, is the Jivan Muktas are Avadhutas?
Yeah, we can call Jivan Muktas or Avadhutas. Actually, there is a different practice of Avadhuta, but we cannot say all the Jivan Muktas are Avadhutas. But there are Jivan Muktas in Avadhuta Vritti, and there are Jivan Muktas without that practice. So, in the Shastras, the Avadhuta Vritti is described. The definition of Avadhuta. If you see that, it's similar with the definition of Jivan Mukta. But not necessarily all the Jivan Muktas are Avadhutas. And all the Avadhutas are Jivan Mukta. That's also not there. So Jivan Mukta can be a Grahastha as well. The Jivan Mukta can be a ruler as king, as we have the example as Janaka. Jivan Mukta can be a rishi. Jivan Mukta can be a sannyasi. Jivan Mukta can be a beggar. Jivan Mukta can be a businessman. Jivan Mukta can be a ruler of the country. Jivan Mukta can be a pujari or pujaga as well. It is very difficult to recognize. So now you may have the doubt why he is doing all this. If he is Jivan Mukta, why he is ruling the country, why he is doing business? The thing is, once he has realized himself as all-pervading Brahma, his body is continued with the prarabdha karma. So the karma which is left over, and that karma, according to that karma, he continues his lifestyle. That's all. He will not knowingly change that, because there is no need to change. So we have so many examples for that. Therefore, Avadhutas are all there. They have a different system or different style of practice. That's all.
The Ramana Maharshi and is Jivan Mukta, Ramana Maharshi Sri Rameshwaram.
Yes, we can say that.
And it is the highest stage of this level.
Yeah, in a way, we actually in this stage, there is no comparison. We don't say lowest stage, highest stage, and no, these are all terms. Because when we use these terms, there again the conditions appear. Therefore, in the state of Jivan Mukta, we can only say that he has realized himself as Brahman and he is experiencing the existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute within. But there is no comparison. We don't say the highest state, and then if this state is higher, then of course we have to mention a lower state as well. So there is no lower state, no higher state, no big Jivan Mukta, no small Jivan Mukta, no great Jivan Mukta, no lower Jivan Mukta. So Jivan Mukta is as one. If one person who is ruling the kingdom is a king, he is also Jivan Mukta, and a beggar is also Jivan Mukta. So the both are Jivan Mukta, the same. We don't call Jivan Mukta as a beggar, but he lives like that. Then we call him as a beggar. That's all. So therefore, we don't condition like this. And there is no name and form for Jivan Mukta. He doesn't apply that.
Okay.
Swamiji.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji.
Hari Om, thank you.
Swamiji, there is a similar question in the chat box from Ratika Oberoi. Was Ramakrishna Paramahamsa a Jivan Mukta?
No, that I said, they are all Jivan Muktas. In their lives, when we see what they preached, from that we know, because we were not there to see him. But what he preached, we can say he has that experience.
So shall we stop, Swamiji?
Okay. Om Purnamataha Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.